dozing pretty girl, a napping babe, a comatose doll,
Doll-like, that's what Clifford Chatterley was, doll-like in his heart and soul. A parallelogram, no heart, no soul, but there she was. Constance Chatterley was there looking down at her beauty, manly, powerful he was. Mellors, built like a chestnut mare, riding her, the plumed serpent of his turpitude, lost now inside her, no brambles round castle, all love and passion deep inside her.
Run again. Yeah. Back to you, Graham.
What?
Don't talk to me about parallelograms, said Jason Udderworth. Come here, Whippet, and have this supper. Outside, there was trouble at mill.
At the mill, all was trouble. Everyone was getting shirty. Beauty was being a bit of a one. She was getting really flirty.
she was eyeing people, she was giving come hither looks, she was drawing attention to her body parts, she was making her eyes wide and her legs as well.
The legs are well spaced, said Mellors, stripping off the hot, wet corduroy down to his knees. Ah, thou hast more that he's not gonna make my head, my God. What planet do you come from, Mellors? Said Lady Chatterley. Ah, thou be beauty, thou be beast, a rad thee further than that Lord ever drove thee. I can't understand a word you're saying. No.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody. All right, that'll do. That'll do, all right. All right, there we go. It's so difficult to award points here, so I'll give none for that round. Now, the next game is called Story, and it features George McGrath, and he's going to be telling a story for us. So if you'd like to come here, George, and get ready to tell the story. And he'll be involving the other participants who'll be acting parts out in his story. So if they could go over to the other side, ready to be drawn in to the story. But the title of the story is going to be suggested for us by somebody in the studio audience here. So I'm going to go off and find somebody. Now, can I just come to you? What's your name?
Abby.
Abby? Some strange names you've got in the audience this week. Well, not you're the first person I've asked, obviously, but have you got a title for a story for us, Abby?
A day in the life of a rubber duck.
A day in the life of a rubber duck. That's a very good story. A bit bizarre, really. And we like a moral that the story might illustrate. Have you got a moral that the story might illustrate?
A rolling stone gathers no mirth.
No mirth?
No mirth.
No. All right. This member of our audience is Irish. A rolling stone gathers no moss. Why don't we make it nice and simple like that? And I've forgotten what the title of the story was.
A day in the life of a rubber duck.
Oh, that's it. A day in the life of a rubber duck. So away you go, George.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful little girl who lived all alone in a cottage in a beautiful little wood. She had no friends at all, but she did have a beautiful rubber duck that she loved to play with. It was huge!
It was huge.
Oh, I love my rubber duck so much, I'm gonna give it a great big hug.
She said, kissing it mysteriously. Soon there was a jingle at the door.
Oh, there's a jingle at the door. Come on, Ducky, let's go and answer it.
It was her beloved grandfather. He was covered with moss. He'd been out in the village for so long, she hadn't seen him in years. He was covered with moss.
Grandfather, you're covered in moss.
She said,
Here.
repeating what the narrator had said over and over again already.
Look, sit down here and have a cuddle of my rubber duck while I go and make you a nice cup of tea.
She said, trying to escape from the scene.
You'll have to speak up. I'm covered in moss.
Said the grandfather, repeating it just one more time.
I've made a cup of tea tea incredibly quickly for the purposes of the improvisation.
Said the girl, speaking as quickly as she could. Soon there was another jingle at the door. It was Keith Richards.
Oh, hi!
Hello, I just decided to roll in.
Hi!
He said, making a pun.
Hey, I think you used to be one of my mom's favorite guitar heroes or something,
No,
didn't you?
I used to be an exhibit in the Natural History Museum.
Well, why don't you come over here and talk to the rubber duck? Because I'm sure you'd have a lot in common.
Did you bring it in through South America, the duck?
No, I've had it here all the time. It's sitting here on my grandfather's knee.
Soon the grandfather began to heave and cough, and everyone knew it was time to gather the moss off him immediately before he would die.
Will you help me gather this moss, please?
No, Rolling Stones don't gather moss.
Oh.
He said, giving the moral away a bit early.
No. Oh, no, early enough. Thank you. All right.
It was fine.
Sorry, is that
Yeah.
too short?
Well, subtly reworded, I think we got the moral there. So I think 45 points there to everyone apart from Jan. I'm going to give her 1,000 points because I like her. Now, the next game is called Props. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this prop caught under my chair, which is going to slow things down just slightly. When I get it out, I'm going to give... I've got it. I'm going to give this prop to John and Jan, and you have to improvise with that prop. Think of as many different ways of using that prop as possible. Meanwhile, there's another bit of it here that I... Meanwhile, I'll give Graham and George this prop. So again, you have to think of as many different ways of using that item. And we'll go between the two pairs, me using the buzzer. So take it away, Jan and John. Now.
Come to our island paradise. There are many nice things that...
No, not quite right.
Faith, Nuncle. Why, when a sparrowhawk climbs into heaven, he spins round again and comes close to us, does he not?
All right. I thought if I attached this to my nose and spun it real fast, I could fly.
Come on, Tiger, store a try. You know...
Put the apple on your head, I'm your father.
I think it was Mark Rothko that gave me the idea of strips, because originally reality coming together doesn't really work, but when it's divided, we sense pain, anguish, and silence.
Do you like it? I call it squiggly line.
No.
What do you think of the crazy colour, then?
I think you look like a git.
I had to buy it. The artist calls it squiggly line.
Really? I like it. I like it.
Any more?
Right, my dear, since you were so very bad at your geometry earlier on, we're just going to have to make sure you're going to be much better when you've taken your little white panties off and everything sorted out.
George, you're an angel.
That's it. Oh, thank you very much. All right, well, while I work out the points for that round, we go away and you get sold things by some advertisers. Be back in a moment. Bye. Yes, well, welcome back. I reckon 10 points for everybody that last game. Now, the next game is called Party Quirks. In this game, Graham Garden will be pretending to be the host of a party. Well, he doesn't throw many parties himself, I understand. And the other participants will be pretending to be guests arriving at his party, but they have each been allocated a strange physical or mental quirk, which they can see by opening their envelopes in front of them. Careful not to show them to Graham, because the idea of this game is for Graham to guess these quirks in the course of the game. So, Graham, if you'd like to come forward and start improvising a party. I'll be bringing the guests in. They'll be arriving from the other side. So if you'd like to sort of queue up ready, I'll be bringing them in using this doorbell sound, which is in fact a doorbell. So on you go then. You're improvising away already, aren't you? Good. And first guest about to arrive. I should think that's the doorbell.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
You made it?
Yes, I made it.
Good. Now, can I offer you something? There's monkfish goujon, or...
Would you have an orb I could communicate with for just a moment? Oh, but get the doorbell
I
first.
will, yes. Hello.
Hi, I'll just have a shower, okay?
Yeah, fine. You know where it is? No, it's not an orb, it's a goldfish. Right, an orb to communicate. How about
So
the telephone?
the TV's broken then?
Yes. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Oh, excuse me.
It's all right, I'll just get the door.
Excuse me.
You're a plumber, you help him.
Look, the cat has
Yes.
messed on the bed again.
Really?
Let me talk to it.
Honestly, it's always me that has to clear it up.
Right, come in. Somebody no. Oh, no.
It's a lovely sky up there tonight. The milky blue, taru, tari, kala, Holland, everything.
Well,
Hello?
come and communicate.
Why have you bought this cheap wine again?
What? Oh, sorry, this is the alien.
Ah, the alien.
Yes, well done. Yes, you've got the alien. Well done. You've only got a few seconds to get
Not
these
as cheap
last
as
two.
it looks. It's only as cheap as it tastes.
Oh, nothing's cheap, everything's rich, everything's gold and lovely. Lovely, shining round the place, and
Look,
everything's
listen,
happy and
I'll tell you
lovely.
what.
Do you mind? I really don't think you should be here.
Ah, you
all
got
right?
darling here, golden spun it is out of the
Look,
clothes.
will you get rid of this man? What are
I'll
you
get
doing?
you some
You're
better
always
wine.
inviting such
You're a
strange people
leprechaun.
to
Where's the
the
gold?
house.
Yeah, very good. 5 seconds to get Jan.
Why are you always inviting such strange people to the house?
You complain about everything, don't you?
Oh, sorry, I meant to go. It's the...
The invisible man.
Okay. All right, I'll give you points for that, but you didn't get Jan quite.
No, she was complaining about everything.
She just thinks she lives there.
Oh,
lives
I
in the
see.
house, you see. Oh. Okay. Well, a very good game that, and I think worth 15 points each. Now, this next round is called Different Games, and in it, John and Graham are going to play every other line. So, John, I'd like to give you a copy of this play. I don't know if you know it at all. It's called Hay Fever by Noel Coward, who is a famous playwright. I don't know if you would have heard of him.
Yeah.
And, Graham, what I'm going to get you to do is to improvise a scene in which you are a pilot, and you think you're talking to somebody who's trying to talk you down, or talking at least from mission control. But you'll be talking to John, of course, who'll be reading from Hay Fever. Got the idea? And to make it easy for you, we'll get you an end line that somebody in the studio audience is going to suggest for us, I hope. An end line he could be aiming at. Don't accept lifts from a stranger. That's a perfectly good end line, so why don't we use it? Can't think of a reason not to. Except to get at that chap in the audience. So, on you go then, Graham. Start off improvising that scene, being a pilot.
Right. Calling Karachi, beginning my descent. How are conditions on the ground?
Well, they'll sap Richard's vitality.
Yes, well, Richard is feeling all right now. He's got over the food poisoning, as have I and the rest of the people on board.
You're getting far too blasé and exclusive, Simon.
It's all right. Well, I haven't really got over it. I'm feeling much better though.
You've never been even civil to any of my friends, men or women, have you?
I am a civil pilot, damn you.
Nothing of the sort. Only I loathe being hearty with your men friends.
Okay, if you don't shut up, I'm going to stop making this pizza and come down and pop you one.
Well, you're a darling and I adore you. You've been very pretty and I'm madly jealous of you.
Yes. Be that as it may, what are the ground conditions in Karachi?
Oh, well, the Japanese room's a woman's room and a woman ought to have it.
As I recall, she did.
Something exquisitely non-committal was done there, I suspect.
Yes. Well, you know what I always say, don't you?
Not that.
In desperation, never take lifts from a stranger.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I think that was well read by John. I think you could almost take up acting. 20 points there. And Graham, I think for improvising 30 points, might have been more if you hadn't just tacked on that end line so obviously. Anyway, now Jan and George are going to play a different game, which is called film dubbing. What we've done is we've taken a film and scrubbed off the soundtrack. Well, I haven't done it, obviously somebody else has done it. But, and they're going to provide a soundtrack for us as best they can. Points here for getting the soundtrack to be better than the original, which would be fairly difficult, I should think. And what we'd like you to be improvising is a scene of two people the morning after a heavy night before. Okay? Which might fit in with the film, or it might not. Well, there's, you can see the film there. Go ahead now.
Oh, I'm thirsty. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Oh, I'm hot. Oh, I'm hot and thirsty. Oh.
Darling, I found this dining room curtain. I wrapped myself up in it.
Well, give it to me. Can't you see my breast is exposed?
Is it still raw from last night?
Yes. Oh, I'm putting water. Oh, I forgot you bit me last night. Your teeth are so long.
Yes. Well, I was overcome with passion for your breast.
Hey, don't touch me again. It's daylight.
I know, but darling, I have got something to say to you.
I know. You're from India.
No. I think you need some support on that breast.
Really?
Yes, I think you're at least a 36B, darling.
I'm a C if I'm a day.
No. Listen, why don't I find you the other dining room curtain?
I'm tired.
Good. Yeah. Well. Yes, that was pretty good. I think that's worth 103 points. Not much mentioning of the party the night before, but kind of everything. Now, the next game is called American Musical. Everybody's going to take part, and to make up a musical in the American style, but based on the life of somebody or bodies in the studio audience here. And in this, the participants will be assisted by our resident musician, Richard Vranch of the Comedy Store Players. So I'm just going to go into the studio audience and find some people and get some events in their life to make a musical on. Now, can I just ask your name, first of all?
Andrew.
Andrew, nice sensible name, good. And has anything happened to you in your life
Puberty.
ever?
Puberty.
Yeah.
Just once.
Just once, yes. Was this last week, or when are we thinking about? Yesterday. Yes, all right. Now, what, has something happened in your life? Don't say puberty, please, because we wouldn't believe
it didn't happen. Nice think.
Well, any time, you know. I mean, it's. We're hoping to expand this to a 9-hour show. Just anything in your life, you know. I mean, coming to see a television recording, that'll do. Television coming, and how about you? Anything happened to you at all?
Making a cup of tea.
Making a cup of tea. Right. Okay. So now the three things that they've got to involve in the American musical is making a cup of tea, puberty, and coming to see a television show recorded. Easy enough, huh? So, if, yes, Jan and George, if you could begin and take it away.
Dad. Yes, son?
Something weird's happening.
What is it, son?
Let me tell you about it. There's hair that wasn't there. There's hair growing everywhere.
That's just natural for you. Don't you worry, let's have a look.
No, Ma! You can't have a look. I didn't see this in the science book.
What's up, son? Something wrong with you, man?
He's imagining things again.
What? Hey, man, don't imagine nothing. Be real with life. It's out there. The mountains are waiting for you. The sky, it's solid as a rock. Well, not the sky, but the mountains, solid as a rock.
Dad?
What?
You better have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Because I'm going through puberty.
Happens to us all, kid. Happens to us all, even me.
Hey, son.
And then...
What?
And then what?
What?
It's like
What?
the lights go on.
The lights
Where?
go on.
And the audience is there.
The audience is there.
And the cameras.
And the cameras.
People everywhere.
What's our son there?
You see, son, you're not strange.
You've got hair and you're on television.
Wow!
Man.
Wow!
Wow.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well done, Graham.
All right. Well, that was the last game, and as I award 93 points to everybody on that one, I total up the scores, and I see that, yes, Jan Ravens is this week's winner. Oh, well done, Jan. Sorry, some applause there. Now, the prize for winning this particular programme is to get to read the credits out in a style of my choosing. And Jan, I'd like you to do it in the style of Paula Yates, if you would. So all I have to do is to thank everyone for taking part. That's to say, Graham Garden, Jan Ravens, George McGrath, John Sessions, and Richard Branch. Thank you, the studio audience. This is me, Clive Anderson, saying good night. Good night.
Whose line is it anyway? Device and control. Oh, God, I made a mistake, sorry. Anyway, it's Graham Garden, George McGrath, Richard Branch, title music, The Spy Philip Hope. Anyway, that's all wrong. But anyway, hi. Oh, great. Anyway, stage manager Hilary Rose, costume designer Joe Cora. She's very nice, actually got some really nice clothes. They're great. Oh, God, I made a mistake. I've completely missed all these people. Researchers by Jane Bigger, production manager Mary Bell, lighting director, oh dear, I wonder if I can make this a little more expressionless. Executive producer Denise O'Donoghue, producer Dan Patterson.